Welcome everyone to the Schwartz Center for Children, where love sees no limits. My name is Mary Hodgson. I'm the CEO of the Schwartz Center for Children. And with me here today is Paris Casimiro, who is our official tour guide for the Schwartz Center. She's also a student here. So as an aside, I just invite all of you to come by for the official, the one and only Paris tour of the Schwartz Center, that is. Although Paris is very busy with all of her duties as a tour guide here, she does make time for a special guest appearance at the award ceremony of Fishing for a Cause, which is what we're here to speak about today. Fishing for a Cause is the only recreational annual fishing tournament held out of the nation's #1 fishing port in the U.S., New Bedford, Massachusetts. And we see Fishing for a Cause as a unique way to make friends and raise funds and awareness for the vital services that we provide to the greater community of New Bedford, Massachusetts, Fall River, all the way up to Attleboro, Naughton, down to the Cape and the islands. Fishing for a Cause and events like this are really the only way that we have to build community support that allows us to continue these vital services. So we thank you all for being part of that and for coming out to support it. I wish we had time today to really say thank you to all of the volunteers, to all of our sponsors, and to all of our participants and anglers of this event, which I don't have time to do, but please know that great gratitude and from the bottom of our heart, we really thank you for coming out to support us. We also are happy today to have Senator Montigny and Mayor Jon Mitchell from the city of New Bedford to also come out to support this event. Last year, New Bedford and the Port Authority could not have been a better host for the event, and we just are really happy for all of them to continue that support and to be here today to talk about it. What we'd like to do is announce some very interesting additions we have, exciting additions we have to this year's tournament, and I'd like to quickly introduce Craig Kaufman, who is co-director of this year's event, to give you some updates on that.
Thanks, Mary. The Fishing for a Cause is a striped bass, bluefish, and fluke tournament, which will be taking place Father's Day weekend, the Friday and Saturday, June 15th and 16th. This year, it's open to all boats, recreational size. This year, we're going to add a kayak division, which is a new, it's going to allow us to tap into a full potential of people. How this will work is the lines are in at 12:01 both days. The weigh-in station will be open from 1 to 4 on Friday and 11:30 to 2:30 p.m. on Saturday. It's all out of Pope's Island Marina. The boundaries for the fishing tournament are no further west than 7140 degrees west, which is Newport, all the way out to Monomoy. Northern boundaries are the south coast of Massachusetts and Rhode Island, so it does cover quite a geography. Like last year, all the fish that are weighed in will be donated to a local food bank. For more information and to register, please go to www.fishingforacause.org. That's fishing, the number 4, a cause.org. This year, again, we will have some unique glass trophies as the prizes. They come from Island Glass Design out of Fort Lauderdale, and we have some high-end fishing gear. And a great addition this year is a chance for all registered anglers over 18 who weigh in a fish, a chance to weigh in, or a chance to win $1 million prize. And if I'd like to have Michelle from Bristol County Savings Bank. Now, the way this will work is anyone who has weighed in a fish during the tournament over the age of 18 will be eligible in a random drawing. We will select 4 anglers in a random drawing, and we will plug in their numbers into this verification unit. And the way it works is if the 3 digits that are in this verification unit match the 3 digits that are in their weight of their fish, they will win $1 million. To give you an example, if the weight that was chosen is 43.12 ounces and the digits in that machine are 312, that person wins $1 million. Now I'd like to introduce Senator Mark McTigney.
Well, I have some disappointing news for Mayor Mitchell, because I did notice that Paris had a bigger smile when he was flirting with her than when I was. But the problem is, by showing up 2 minutes after I did, we had already cut the deal. I tried a 50-50 deal, and the deal was that we would try our best to figure out a way to get the handcuffs off this intimidating gentleman, Mark. And she made me go 30-70. She 70, I 30, so you're out of luck, buddy. Thank you, Paris. A few things I want to say. First, to continue the light note, the Schwartz Center makes it difficult for me at home. Starting at, I think at 16 or 17 years old, my sister Katie was a volunteer for the Schwartz Center, and then somehow, whatever, 30 years later, she became a lobbyist, unofficial, for the Schwartz Center, unpaid, but every time a budget came up reminded me that no, X number of million wasn't enough for early intervention, so therefore make sure that there is more available. She was impacted tremendously by the young people here with special challenges. On a lighter note, again, in the present, the woman I'm dating is a vegetarian, and that's okay. She doesn't lecture me about it. She cooks really well. She absolutely is strict about it. She doesn't just talk the talk. She really walks the walk over the years. And one night I'm there, and I said, well, I don't have any problem. Maybe you can at least cook and add some seafood and some fish. I'm from New Bedford. It's the best seafood on earth. And she looked at me quite serious and said, fish have feelings too. So I'm in trouble coming to this press conference today, and I did not remind her where I was today. So you can, strictly off the record with all the cameras going. On a serious note, I have watched the work of the Schwartz Center for a long time. I was privileged enough for years to have worked with the staff and the volunteers to procure funds, particularly when I was chair Ways and Means, but in all the years before and subsequent. And frankly, there's not ever been enough. And the challenges in the budget process are pretty well known, particularly in this crisis, so-called. But what's troubling to me, and you can help not only by fishing, showing up, volunteering, contributing, but being lobbyists yourselves. Every time a legislator in Washington or Boston says, there's not enough, money's tight, you should know that. Make sure you remind them of all the things we're spending money on that are less important. You know, we did $1 billion initiative for the biotech industry in the middle or the beginning of a budget crisis. Why? You know, a company with 0 unemployment in Cambridge moving to Lexington doesn't deserve a transfer of taxpayer money to the balance sheet. We should have taken the money and put it into research grants for special needs. So I won't bore you with the details, but every chance I get, I want to remind people that everyone in this room, every volunteer, every staff person, is ultimately a lobbyist to change what I think is a pretty unfair system. Close with this. No matter what the budget is, if it's inadequate, the way it's made up is contributions and unearned income and great volunteer work. So this is important. I also think it's, since we do have the nicest port in America and the best seafood in the world, without any question, it's great for the poor people of Nantucket and the Vineyard and Newport and Marion and Mattapoisett. They overpay for docking space. They overpay for everything they do. They get to come to this beautiful city. They get to go to the greatest marina on the East Coast, and they get to fish and maybe, just maybe, win the $1 million. Although I might, if I can get away with it at home, I might very well enter, simply because I'm afraid that Paris might cut a better deal with the mayor, so I may have to go through official means. So thank you very much. I'm sorry to violate the 3-minute rule.
I assume I'm next on the list. Maybe I shouldn't be so presumptuous, Mary. Well, thank you for being here. And I beg to differ with Senator Montigny. We have witnesses in the room here who saw a much more favorable reception on the part of Paris than my entering the room.
I noticed it. I admitted that.
Well, listen, I've been in office for all of roughly 5 weeks, and we had a couple of weeks ago a couple of events that really hit the community pretty hard. We had the death of Andrew McCann, who was the football captain and baseball captain at Vogue, who died tragically in a car accident on his way to school. A few days later, in fact, hours after his funeral, a 12-year-old student, a sixth-grade student at Roosevelt, committed suicide. And it was quite a blow to the city, and I'm sure all of you saw the news coverage of both events. You know, and I was asked at press events, you know, what do you make of this? And what I make of it is this. We have bad things in this world happen to good people. I can't explain it. None of us can explain it. We all find ways through our own faith to reconcile those types of events. But what distinguishes us as a community, it seems to me, is the way we respond. We take care of our own. We step up. It was remarkable this week to see folks step up and give aid to the families, to give aid to students, to give aid to schools, to all come together in very positive ways, and made me very proud to be mayor of a community like that. What we have here in the Schwartz Center is the institutionalization of that sentiment. I mean, the Schwartz Center reflects our community, and our community reflects the Schwartz Center. Schwartz Center has been at its business for a long time now, and its endurance speaks to the way our community comes together to help those who need help, those who don't have a voice, those who through no fault of their own have been plagued by some misfortune. It's a great institution. I am proud to support it in any way I can. In this instance, we have something that is a win-win-win-win-win. We have an event, a fishing event that is fun. It is long in coming to our community. We've been a famous port, both a whaling port and a fishing port, for a long time. We haven't touted ourselves as a recreational fishing port. There are sport fishing outfits all up and down the East Coast. We haven't had as much of that here. A great way to start it from an economic development standpoint is to do a great charitable event. Last year's event was a big success. I know this year will be even better, but it's all for a good cause. It's a lot of fun. I mean, having this, I've never, and maybe it's just me, but I've never heard of having a lottery type of element to a fundraiser like this. But it's very clever. This is all very clever and all very fun, and it happens to be for a fantastic cause. So I can tell you here, as I stand here, that certainly has my support as the mayor of New Bedford. We will make sure that this year is a success too, and do whatever we can to make that happen. And I look forward to it. I look forward to the silent auction too.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Again, I would just like to thank you all for coming here today and for meeting Paris, and her tours do fill up quickly, so ask you to sign up as soon as possible. And thank you for your support, the community-wide, and we couldn't do it without you, so thank you.
Check out this chef, right?
So gay.
Please don't say that. It's like if I thought this pepper shaker was stupid and I said, man, this pepper shaker is so 16-year-old boy with a cheesy mustache. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.